same minute too. And then yeah, to your point about like using that as the the case to like censor speech and violate constitutional rights. Tim Walz has gone on cable news and said that same thing. There is no guarantee of the First Amendment when it comes to hate speech and disinformation, and he's absolutely incorrect. And obviously, like I just said, the people who are determining what is hate speech or disinformation are often the people who push disinformation themselves.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. They who smelt it dealt it. So, yeah, but I actually got a ton of calls and a big, a lot of people approached me this weekend about the Liz Cheney hoax where so, and it's a lot easier to, want to do war if you're having fancy dinners in, say, Washington D.C. or something, while other people die in trenches. So basically saying that Liz Cheney and her dad are obviously, huge warmongers, and like they love war and they profit from it. So they have like stock ownership in companies that profit from war, which is a terrible incentive. So like Trump's right, like that people just should. It's just basically lacks empathy to be living in comfort while
Other thing is, if you're on your commute home from work and you haven't voted yet, get in line if your polling places are still open, and also to text your friends, call your friends, and ask if they voted, and that their vote could, especially in states like Pennsylvania, could change the outcome of the election. So just a reminder there, polls are starting to close. I think first polls are closing in just under 10 minutes. And then we have, every hour on to 10 p.m. later, polls will be closing. So just a reminder there to, encourage all of your friends to vote. There's still time.
By the way, guys, just before you go to the hands, Washington Post 4 minutes ago put out a story that says for nearly half of Trump voters, overt appreciation of Hitler is acceptable. Literally minutes ago. They say 50% of Trump voters, just now, they say 50% of Trump voters would still back a candidate who praised Hitler. That's the Washington Post. So they're sealing, that's the last nail in the coffin.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's totally insane. I mean, who they ask, but that is just totally nuts. I mean, there's the sheer amount of propaganda being pushed by legacy media is just outrageous. They're sort of shielded by a Supreme Court decision that literally allows them to flat out lie about public figures and face no repercussions. It's like kind of a maybe an overly generous interpretation of the First Amendment. Like people should be able to say what they want to say, but there's still penalties for saying that. Like it's still civil and tort. So I do think it's probably not. That doesn't make sense. That you can just blatantly lie, and over again just get away with it with zero financial consequences.
They're doing you a favor. The metrics on X kind of speak for themselves.
Yeah, just they kind of are doing me a favor, frankly, because more and more people just come to X to find out what's really going on.
Hey, Elon, I wanted your thoughts on the Google interference thing. I mean, considering how big Google is, do you think that's illegal what they're doing, just suppressing Trump's name?
Well, it's not clear that in that particular instance, I think they didn't, at least in that instance, did not suppress Trump's name. It was that when people searched for Harris, it was showing them the locations for Harris County, not where to vote for Kamala in general, just for Harris County. So that was, I think, a misunderstanding, at least on that front. I mean, there are other question marks that are maybe more significant, like when Trump had the interview with Joe Rogan. It was the biggest interview in the world, and you could not find it. You'd search for it on Google or YouTube, couldn't find it. for several hours, which is that's very odd, because it's obviously it's Joe Rogan's channel on YouTube, and that's what YouTube already knows, that's a big channel. So it's like they claimed it like that there was so much so many people watched the interview that it triggered some automatic search ban or something like that. But I mean, come on, it's Joe Rogan's channel, and it took a long time to fix it.
Yeah, exactly. Those should be easier fixes, especially if it's like national news. If it's number one hosted on your platform and then like national news, it should just be like a glaring alarm bell that like it's not searchable. And you'd think there'd be some sort of guardrails for one like most prominent users on the platform to I think their excuse was that there was like mass reporting of it or something as spam.
No, that doesn't. Yeah. They've looked into it. They've apparently, I think Calacanis and David Sachs and Friedberg were talking about it on the podcast. That explanation of people flagging it just didn't make sense because it happens all the time, and there's a system in place to make sure that doesn't impact the ranking for so many hours. So the explanation didn't have too much weight.
I didn't think so either. It wouldn't make sense for them to be able to game the system.
Yeah, it's certainly the case that Google prioritizes left-wing media in their search results. Also prioritizes quite a bit of Reddit, which is very left-wing at this point. There's just a natural left-wing bias that Google has. And,
What about Sundar's letter to employees asking them to be neutral? Is it genuine? Is it too little, too late?
I think his message is genuine, but it does say something that he would have to actually send such a message, because he's sending such a message because he's worried that people won't be, and because they haven't been at times. When Trump won in 2016, Google had like a struggle session next level. Like they had like give people time off and like psychological counseling because Trump won. Like that's how far left Google is. They're like, people are just like literally bawling their eyes out and taking days off work, and like that's the level of psychological trauma just because Trump won, quite fairly won the presidency against tough odds. So those people are still there at Google. I don't think they've changed their mind about Trump for the most part. It's a real concern. But I think it's very telling that when you look at the fact that the Democrats outspent the Republicans, so Trump was way outspent in dollars, including my contribution in the swing states and just generally. He has, the Dems have, like, I don't know, almost every celebrity, like 80-90% of celebrities endorsing Kamala. They've got massive bias in the legacy mainstream news, with absurdly favorable coverage of Kamala and absurdly negative false coverage of Trump. And they also have a great ground game, which is something that the America PAC has helped fix, is that we've I think made a very significant difference in the Republican ground game this election cycle to at least match, if not exceed, the Democratic ground game. But basically the Democrats, like, they have all the cards. It's like it's insane that frankly, I'm like, I wonder, how do Republicans ever win, given that Democrats have so much on their side? And I think it's because people see through a lot of this, and the people are just a lot more mainstream, normal than the social media and companies and the legacy media companies and Hollywood, which are very far left.
Texas Lindsay, do you have anything to add?
Yes, I noticed that Washington Post actually had another story come today, and I was wondering if it was true or not. Elon said that you're going to be celebrating or watching the election results over at Mar-a-Lago tonight. Is that true?
That is true. I actually just voted in South Texas because I'm registered to vote in Cameron County, which is where Starbase is, from my little house on Williams Meme Street. So I just voted, and now I'm headed to Florida, I'll just be there with President Trump and JD and a bunch of other cool people.
They actually got a story right. It's very surprising. I'm shocked, actually.
Yeah, I think it's I think one thing that's like maybe underrated here is that like the Trump team is, I think that they're good people, but they're also just like they're fun. It's like they've got a great sense of humor, like making jokes. I mean, Trump actually has quite a bit of self-deprecating humor.
Up in a garbage truck was a great example of that.
Yeah, exactly. He's driving garbage trucks. He's working at McDonald's.
That was the most epic troll I've ever seen. I can't believe he did that. It was the timing, everything was perfect.
Yeah, I thought that was so cool. I think the public did too.
So, which one of the 400 agencies, if Trump does win tonight, is going to be eliminating? That was my next question.
Well, assuming that if things go the right way with this election, we're going to do a comprehensive review of all the government agencies. There's many people I've never even heard of. There's a lot of duplicate responsibility where multiple agencies actually have overlapping portfolios, which is unnecessary. As I said, and which I think is clear from just looking at the data, America is way overspending. Like we're just like an individual that's like gotten way out on credit card debt or something, and we're in this insane situation where the interest payments on our national debt now exceed the Defense Department budget, which is $1 trillion. So we're spending more than $1 trillion just paying down interest, and the more debt we accumulate, the more we'll pay interest until basically the entire budget will just be interest. So this is a real crisis, like a very severe crisis that the media doesn't talk about, and so we've got to do something about it. We've got to make significant reductions in government spending, and we've got to we just need to move. Like there's a lot of people that work for the government that we just need to transition them to more productive roles in the private sector where they can make products and services that would be more useful.
We need some Argentina action.
Yeah. So it's got to be done, and we want to do it like obviously in a sort of fair and humane way, and make sure people don't have like financial strife. So to be kind of I was thinking it depends on the situation, but something on the order of like 2 years of people can continue to get paid for 2 years, or maybe more in some cases if they're long tenured, and so it's not like they can't make the mortgage payment. They just got a couple of years to kind of figure out something new to do, So take a vacation, take a second job, still get paid for their old job. I think that's a pretty good deal.
And we have some term limits on bureaucrats in office. Like Fauci was in office since like 1984, and that clearly problem that you end up with lifetime bureaucrats running everything.
Yeah, exactly. So Fauci, obviously, I'm not a huge fan of Fauci. I think he should be held accountable for some of his some things he's done, which of course harm to a lot of people. Funding bioweapons labs in other countries is not cool, in my opinion, at all. So, which he did. And when someone's in like position of power in the bureaucracy for such a long time, they just get, I think, somewhat corrupted over time. So somebody shouldn't be in government for such a crazy long time. So we really, the country is founded on really small government principles. There's supposed to be just three branches of the government. There's supposed to be legislative, executive, and judicial. But now we've got this fourth branch, which in a lot of ways is more powerful than any of the other branches, which is this vast federal bureaucracy. So I think it's holding America back in a big way, and we can really unleash a new age of prosperity by simplifying the rules. We still want regulations, just they just need to be necessary regulations. So I liken it to referees on a field in a sports game. You want to have, you don't want to have no referees, but you don't want to have more referees than players. That's crazy. And
That was a great.
yeah.
Well, go live
Elon,
on
on that topic,
tonight at
I was going to follow up on that question. On that topic, Elon, like a lot of news publications came out around the time when you said there would be, I think, the word hardship, and they predicted they basically claimed you predicted there would be economic turmoil and a stock market crash. Can you clarify for everyone listening, like what you meant there? Because I feel like they probably took that ball and ran down for the field with them.
Yeah, I'm very confident that there will not be a stock market crash. In fact, I think we will see a rise in the value of equities as a function of prosperity. And like I said, in reducing the size of federal government, we'll make sure people, still making the same money they're making before for I don't know, at least a couple of years. So, there only really would be hardship if people after 2 years can't find something else to do, which I think is very unlikely. But I actually, I think the most likely outcome, if there's significant deregulation, is just like what happened with when Reagan did it in the 80s, is that he unleashed a massive massive prosperity was unleashed with Reagan deregulation in the 80s. And that's I think what will happen with the Department of Government Efficiency, is that we'll make government way more efficient. People's tax money will be spent far more sensibly, and I'm not saying there might be a few bumps in the road, but in the grand scheme of things, I think we'll be headed for a golden age of prosperity.
Thanks, Elon. Sorry, Texas. I'll let you finish that. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, if we can tonight, Elon to go live on X with Trump, that would be epic. Might break the internet.
Sure.
That would be.
That would be quite entertaining.
Yeah, I think that's how you guys should announce the victory if it happens on X.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully it's clear enough. The votes are clear enough that there is a victory tonight. So yeah, but if so, I'll try to do something nice.
We will definitely know the results in Georgia, since they passed a law saying that they have to have all votes counted within an hour of the precincts closing. So hopefully we'll get some good news and a quick turnaround here in Georgia, and hopefully more states follow suit and add that legislation to their state law as well. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think in general, I think across the country we should be mandating, voter ID, in-person voting, unless there's a very good reason not to do in-person voting, and like somebody's got a really significant excuse, like they're serving overseas, and it's got to be same day counting, and that's it. And they do this in many other countries, and we can too.
Wall Street Silver, do you have anything to add?
I think Silver's having audio issues. He was DMing me earlier about it.
Oh God. Okay. I'm just seeing that. All right. Let's see. Not Jerome. Do you have anything to add?
Hey, what's up, everyone? What's up, Elon? First, I'm gonna thank Elon for giving us this wonderful free speech platform. where we can say whatever we want and we can meme whatever we want and it's good, but like on a platform. Recently, Mr. Trump said that he wants long-lasting peace in the Middle East. I want to know Elon's stance on this matter. I want to know if it's something achievable in like a short term, long term. What's his stance on it? And I'm gonna suggest Elon when the Department of Government Efficiency comes to keep my printer alone, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Trump's record, prior record as president speaks for itself. Where there were no wars started. In fact, we made significant inroads with North Korea, and there's. I think people were this is why actually it's very important to have a president where there's both the perception and the reality of strength, because people don't want to mess with a strong American president. But if we have either the reality of perception or perception of a weak president, which I mean, Biden obviously is. If they see that the American president can't even climb a flight of stairs, I'm like, nobody's going to be intimidated by that. But I think people do find Trump intimidating. World leaders find him intimidating, so that is incredibly helpful for ensuring peace. Long-term peace in the Middle East, I sure hope so. It's a tough part of the world, but I think we can do a lot better than what's happened over the last 4 years. Like a lot better.
Thank you, Elon. And please, tell Mr. Trump to give me a second term or to keep my printer alone. Thank you very much.
I think we're going to do something. I think your printer is printing too much money and needs to print less money.
Yeah, maybe I can do that if you give me the second term. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Elon,
States. If you lose Pennsylvania, which has got the most electoral votes, then you need almost all the other swing states to win. And I do have some ties, some history with Pennsylvania because I went to college there for 3 years. I know the state, and I felt that it was possible to shift Pennsylvania into the Republican camp. That was my instinct, and I think that'll be proven correct. I hope so. Certainly, we've been able to shift the early voting difference dramatically. As I mentioned, the Democrats were actually doing better than until around October 10th or so, and then with a concerted effort on many levels, we've managed to shift that so that there was this now a massive disadvantage that the Democrats went into relative to 2020 in Pennsylvania, like 600,000 votes, which is gigantic. When you consider it's like a 6.9 million people typically vote in a presidential election in Pennsylvania. So, and we've done a lot in the other states as well, but the focus had to be Pennsylvania because it's really it's such a decisive factor in the election.
And another side question, not sure if there's hands up, American Pact, but just one other follow-up question. I had the pleasure of speaking to your mum 2 days ago on the show. I think it's 2 or 3 days ago, and she's coming again today. She's also, it was an incredible discussion, and she was so fun. But she's gotten a lot more active in the last few days. Has she chatted to you about it? What triggered her? Because she was a lot more, I kind of saw the gradual passion over the last few days and weeks. Do you know what triggered that? Is that just kind of following your footsteps, seeing how passionate you were, or was there any specific issue that got her energized?
Well, I mean, she's my mother, so she saw me just getting attacked relentlessly, and the Dems doing crazy things like saying that I need to be denaturalized, as might have my U.S. citizenship taken away from me and my companies taken away from me, and I think she's pretty upset about that. she sort of started digging into things that the legacy media was saying about Trump, and then finding out that she'd been lied to, and she was like, well, after one thing, after another, and so she's very tenacious and very smart, and I have a lot of respect for my mom, and she's quite formidable, so she's on the warpath.
Let's see. Do we got a question from Rabbit? And apologies, I'm trying to add more people to the stage, but I'm just getting an error.
Sorry, I'm gonna drop off then. Thank you very much for having me, guys. I'm gonna drop off for other speakers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for having me up here. I did have some questions regarding the woke mind virus and kind of the plan to tackle that, but I did want to follow up Mario's question. So for Ms. Musk, like, was there like a specific lie about Trump that once was kind of debunked that kind of like swayed her a little bit? Because I know like there's the buying on both sides hoax, for example, that many people bought into, and then once they realized that full context where he wasn't supporting Nazis and white nationalists, and he explicitly condemned them, that kind of swayed them. So was there like a specific like moment in the media narrative that kind of like once she saw the other side that it kind of switched her over?
I'll ask her about that because I'm not sure. I'm not actually sure what the fundamental thing was. What biggest impact?
I asked her that question 3 days ago. What she answered, what she told me was the lies she constantly saw on mainstream media. I think when she kind of woke up to that, I think most people are in a similar bucket, starting to wake up to the kind of other universe that the mainstream media is creating.
Yeah, basically, speaking of rabbit holes, like once you start going down the hoax rabbit hole and you start finding that one thing after another was a hoax, I think it tends to make people very angry because they feel like, wow, I can't believe I've been lied to so much for so long and so consistently. Legacy media's made a huge mistake by being so partisan and so deceptive. And this is, in fact, if you have friends and family who, are still sort of buying into, sort of still, I don't know, Kamala supporters or whatever, just showing them the source material, I think, is the biggest thing. Just like saying, well, what are the things that you just like about Trump? Now let's let's watch the actual video. That this you can hear what he said. You don't have to hear someone's opinion of what he said. You can actually hear what he said and see if you think that matches with what you've been told by the media. And then they look at them like, wow, that's actually, he said the total opposite of what the media said he said. Like, yeah. Now let's go through it. Go over another hoax. Oh, well, that one's wrong too. Oh, this other hoax is wrong. Well, this is one after another. How many do you want to go through? And then that's the best. Basically, truth and sunlight are the best antidote to the people being bamboozled by the legacy media.
Hello, it's me. I'm May.
Oh, hi.
I've just come on. I might as well give my own thoughts and why.
That's funny.
Why I spent a week like totally dedicated to Republicans and Trump and voting and everything. I mean, beyond what I would do. The thing is, I was at a 3-day fashion conference in Marrakesh, and I dare not talk politics among. So I said, when I get back, I might ruin my modeling career, but I'll help you save America, and that's why I was so active in the last week.
Well, thanks. But to the point is, I guess part of it is what we're trying to figure out is like, well, how do we convince others to, support Trump or rethink their support? Maybe at least move them to neutral. Like what is most convincing to you?
To go on to X and to go on to Fox News. I mean, you remember for how many years was 20 years, that 25 years, Fox News were the devil, the devil. And suddenly, my twin sister said to me, "You've got to follow Fox News. They really say the facts and they are honest." And I thought, no, this can't be true. The New York Times, CNN, MSNBC, they said it's bad, bad, bad. And then I said, I went on Fox News and I was very impressed. And now I've just done 4 interviews for Fox News.
Okay,
So, and I had fun, and because I trusted them.
great.
You also, May, you also in our chat earlier, you talked about how your friends who are also Democrats, they've also, they're kind of following your footsteps and starting to question a lot of their earlier beliefs. Is that for similar reasons? Is that similar to seeing the mainstream media's lies, or did they all have different reasons?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I guess they still want to be my friends. And, just they just don't know what to do. They're more confused. And so I've told them to vote for the vote Republican. And they're asking me, how am I doing? How am I feeling? I'm getting texts all day today, because it's very intense. And we have to win.
It is very intense. I mean,
Yeah.
and
I'm very proud of my son. I'm very proud of Elon. I'm all the time.
Thanks, Mom.
And yeah, I think New York Times is doing a hit piece on you tomorrow.
I mean, listen. What else is new? I mean, honestly,
We've
unless
lost
it's like
count.
another day, another hit piece. It's like.
And so, but it was someone who's very upset.
Okay.
And I said, no, this is normal.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Whatever.
Send them a poop emoji.
Get over it.
Yeah. Seriously.
I think, May, they're scared of you, May, because every time someone talks anything bad about you, you quote tweet them and attack them back on your profile.
I crap on them.
Exactly.
I can be as hateful as they are, because I can pull up the lies,
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing about free speech, is that like you get to, is that the people that are like, you kind of know who the bad guys are. It's like whoever doesn't want free speech, because that means that their ideas can't stand light of day. That's that, like, basically truth tellers don't fear free speech, liars do.
Yeah, the weird thing is, I'm also on Instagram mainly for my modeling photos, and I've posted Fox News and Republican and Go to Vote, and I haven't been taken off. And I've had a lot of people liking what I'm saying, and then I've had a lot of people who don't follow me and have 0 posts hating on me and being very malicious. So I actually screenshot about 10 of them and I just post them on my Insta story saying where they're coming from. They don't follow me. They have no posts. There must be some bots that the Democrats have put up.
Yeah, so it's like, are they real or not? Yeah.
Yeah. And then those people who are real, because they do follow me, if they mean and malicious, then I block them. But if they just are giving their opinion, and then I'll just I hide their comment.
Have you, May? Have you had a similar? So when Elon went all in on Trump, all the hit pieces
All
came
in,
out.
baby. Next level.
but you're going. Good.
That was funny.
May, you're going all in as well. Are you starting to get? Are you feeling a hit piece coming in? Because I can't wait for to see your response to it.
Oh, I'll wait. No, nobody's been after me, which is disappointing and unusual.
They've got manners. They never go after the mum. I think they've got a certain red line by the looks of it.
No, they'll come after me. They don't have a problem with that. They have no morals, so it doesn't matter. But then they have to go through my manager usually, because I don't share any of my information, and she'll hit them down.
Well,
Hey, May, I just
Oh, God, Elon.
I think we're kind of seeing a sea change in the country, frankly. Kind of like a waking up, you know.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so.
I think for many people, the situation with COVID was a wake up call. Like some of the stuff that was coming out on the media, like "fiery but peaceful" on CNN, like that was so
yeah,
in
just
your face propaganda that it's hard to not be awake after seeing that. Like at that point, they're insulting our intelligence as Americans.
yeah, they're telling you just don't believe your eyes. I'm like, well, wait, we're supposed to believe you and not believe our lying eyes? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah, like I just felt insulted at that point because it was a period when a lot of us were supposed to be sheltering in place, and then they made this giant. I think you called it a moral invincibility card for people participating in BLM protests, and they said, "Oh,
Yeah.
magically COVID will stop spreading if you're at a activist protest." And I was like, "Well, what about the rest of us? I thought we were in this together." And then they made this huge exception, carving it out, and then I was like, "All right, well, I guess if you're woke, you don't have to play by the rules."
Yeah, and also, if you're also illegally crossing the border, then it doesn't apply. I'm like, how does that work,
So
Is COVID immunity just because you came illegally across the border? That seems weird.
Elon,
So,
you've made X sort of the real player for popping the narrative against the mainstream media the past 2 years, but this is the first election where it's really going to have an impact. But even if we do win this year, if they ever get control, whether it's 2026 or 2028, they're going to do all those things like packing the Supreme Court or legalize a bunch of illegals. I mean, is there a plan with America PAC to continue beyond 2024?
Can anyone hear Elon? Is it glitching? I think Elon, you're muted. I think, unless I'm the only one that can't hear you.
I can't
I
hear
can't
either.
hear. I can't hear.
I think
anything,
everyone,
so-
sorry.
everyone was just too scared to actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, everyone was just too scared to jump in.
Sorry. Actually, I'm just about to land, so I have to sign off soon. But no,
Have a great party tonight. I hope you're celebrating.
I hope so.
Yeah, I'm celebrating with friends. The closet Republicans in New York.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, so America PAC is gonna keep going after this election, and be preparing for the midterms and any intermediate elections, as well as looking at elections at the district attorney level and basically judicial sort of level, because I think we something needs to be done to kind of counter the damage that Soros has done to the American system. We just have to have DAs that protect the citizens of their cities and put like repeat violent offenders in prison. Like, it's just insane that we have in so many of our cities DAs who don't prosecute crime, and then the people of those cities suffer. You got that in New York, you got that in LA, you got that in Philadelphia. It's just nutty. So I think basically American PAC's going to aim to weigh in heavily on the midterms and intermediate elections, as well as just doing common sense stuff like having DAs who prosecute repeat violent criminals who are obviously a danger to the people.
By the way, have you guys, Elon May, your thoughts on the strategy by Kamala, getting all these A-list celebrities to support them? It's the campaign. I'm surprised she's even that close in the polls, because the campaign is mainly focusing on the strategy of emotions. So no logic, no numbers, no policy. All her answers are very vague. Yet for some reason, it still works with some people in the US. I just don't understand why not enough people see through it, and I wonder whether that could happen in future elections as well, because it's not an election based on facts.
I know, but I was a former Democrat and I was a staunch Democrat. And, I didn't trust a Republican. I didn't trust the Fox News or any Republicans. And it is really hard to suddenly change. So it would take a few weeks to be able to accept the change after you've been believing for so long. And so that could just be slowing people down.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I'm cautiously
Elon.
optimistic that we'll see a pretty big change this election, and I think that momentum will continue. It's at least my hope.
I hope.
Yeah.
Too.
I mean, it's considering, for instance,
Elon.
like Joe Rogan. Like I said, I really recommend people watch the podcast that we did yesterday. Because Joe was, Joe was a Democrat for a long time until recently, and Joe Rogan, for Joe Rogan to endorse Trump, that's a really big deal, because in times in the past he actually said I think he at one point, like he said, he would never endorse Trump, and he's come to the conclusion he's changed his mind, so again, because the more he looked at the data and everything, it's like he's like, well, these hoaxes aren't true. So I think we're just seeing it. I think there's a sea change in the country. I hope I'm not wrong about that. And and if Trump wins, we'll have 4 years to just fix a lot of things and set up America for a grand age of prosperity. So with that, I'd have to sign off. Got to actually go meet with President Trump, and hopefully tonight will be a celebration. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Elon.
Thank you, Elon.
Thanks.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks all.